So it's quite clear that something is happening in WWE right now. Something to do with Uncle Howdy and potentially the Wyatt Six. Now, we have had many speculations on who is coming, who he's going to come with, because there's a lot of we in his subtle QR codes that are coming out and a lot of the things that are happening on TV. There's a lot of we talk rather than just one person. So I think we can establish that there's definitely a group of people and potentially a Wyatt Six faction coming into play. Will they be called the Wyatt Six? We don't know. But I think we can almost confirm for a definite that Uncle Howdy is making a comeback. This is far too similar to Bray Wyatt's White Rabbit stuff when he first made an appearance way back before, was it 2023, 2022 Extreme Rules? I think it was 2023. Anyway, this is far too similar to all of that stuff when he was making his comeback. So we can almost guarantee that we're gonna see Uncle Howdy make a return. With that being said, the question is, who returns with him? Now, we have had many speculations on who the Wyatt Six is going to feature and who the potential people to be in the Wyatt Six are. Now, a lot of these people are not on TV right now, which is a good indication as to the fact that they might actually be within this faction. For example, we have not seen Nikki Cross for a very long time, and she is one of the people that are rumored to be in the Wyatt Six. And to be honest, I think that suits her perfectly. Ever since Sanity got broken up way back when, do you guys even remember Sanity from NXT? That was so damn good. Anyway, she got removed from Sanity and she never quite made it to the top. She had the whole Nikki ASH character, where she actually won the Women's Championship after cashing in her Money in the Bank, but it never really reached the heights of where she could have if Sanity stuck as a group. So I think putting her back into a evil, dark type of group, similar to, or not similar to Sanity, but that sort of vibe, is perfect for her and perfect for what she's able to do in the ring. She's a really good worker. Let's not forget this. She can have really good matches. Go back and watch some of those NXT matches. Go back and watch some of the matches on the main roster. Nikki Cross can work. So, would I have Nikki Cross in the Wyatt Six? For sure. I would definitely put Nikki Cross in the Wyatt Six. Her character work, the way she can play that psychotic, dark, mysterious character. The proof is in the pudding. We've seen it before time and time again. So Nikki Cross in the Wyatt Six for me, definitely having it. We have then seen some speculation for the likes of Dexter Lumis to be involved in this. Now, Dexter Lumis made his return after being released from WWE initially, basically on one of the first nights that Triple H was in charge, when Vince McMahon was in and out of WWE. And it was interesting then because he was appearing in backstage segments, he was appearing in the crowd, he was tormenting Miz, but then it kind of faded away really quickly. I just think they didn't know how to use him consistently. It was a cool little thing for a little bit, and then after a while it got pretty boring, and you're watching the same thing over and over. So they took him off TV, and I think him being off TV for so long, similar to Nikki Cross, is an indication that he could potentially be in this Wyatt Six. It makes sense. I think he was even off TV come the time Wyatt was originally coming back, and there was a potential for the Wyatt Six then already. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in this. He also has that dark, straight face, weird character. I think it could work. I'm not sure if he's going to really benefit from this or if he's just going to be a part of the faction. And then once the faction eventually, comes to its end, he's just going to be a nothing. Because I think he needs more than what he's giving, or what he was giving right before he went off TV. There's a character there, but it just, he needs to add more than just a straight face, He's got the look, he's got those eyes, like those beady eyes. He's got everything that can fit into this faction, but can he make it meaningful? Can he make an impact to this faction? I don't know. I really don't know. So with him, I'm on the fence of whether you include Dexter Lumis, but I don't really know who else we can fit into this equation. And in terms of men wrestlers within his sort of realm. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm down to see it. I'm down to see if they can make it work and if he can make it work. So Dexter Lumis in the Wyatt Six, let's do it. There's then been rumors that Eric Rowan, the former Wyatt family member Eric Rowan, has re-signed with WWE, which to me, he only re-signs with WWE if they've got something Wyatt orientated plan for him. Last time we saw Eric Rowan was he was on AEW a couple times. In fact, the sad part is the last time we've seen Eric Rowan in a big TV role was when Brody Lee died, and the second time was when Bray Wyatt died. So it's really sad. I think if you're going to do a Wyatt 6 faction, which is a tribute to Bray Wyatt, you have to have Eric Rowan included. There is no other option. He knows how to fit the character. He knows Bray Wyatt. He knew Bray Wyatt. He knew how he thought, how he operated. He knew what he wanted with things. He'd be perfect in that role. And quite frankly, you need a big guy that is intimidating. And I just think Bray Wyatt, it just makes sense for Eric Rowan to be in there. Makes total sense. The story is there. The history is there. And as a tribute to Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan is the perfect man. And Eric Rowan can work. Eric Rowan, let's not forget this man had a WrestleMania match with The Rock even. I say match because, yeah. But he can really, really work. And I'll be happy for him to be in the Wyatt family. In fact, I want him in the Wyatt family. I'll be super happy. It'll be a feel-good thing to see Eric Rowan continuing the legacy of one of his closest friends in Bray Wyatt, alongside Bray Wyatt's brother, but we'll get to him later on. So with that being said, Eric Rowan, I'm happy to have him in the Wyatt 6. We then have people talking about Alexa Bliss potentially being in the Wyatt 6. Now, we know Alexa Bliss played a large part in the Fiend character during the pandemic era, and I think before that, and just after that, the WrestleMania where we actually had fans was when we last saw Alexa Bliss and the Fiend together. So with that being said, well, she actually turned on the Fiend, I think. That was a really confusing segment. I need to go back and watch that, where the Fiend essentially was finished. But yeah, I think Alexa Bliss is a difficult one for me, because I still think her best work was fresh heel from NXT Goddess. What was it? The Goddess? She had a gimmick name. I think it was the Goddess, which was just a bitchy, excuse my language, little heel with snarky comments, great on the mic, really knows how to work the crowd. That was the best Alexa Bliss that we ever got. Face Alexa Bliss just does not work. We already know she's nice, but she doesn't have that bubbly personality. You get what I mean? We can see her as a very nice person, so you can get behind her as a babyface. You know, you're not thinking, oh, she's a bitch. Why would we like her? But she's not got that bubbly attitude that I don't know. It just didn't fit her. A heel fits her perfectly. I think it's just because we know how good of a heel she is. So, do I want her back as a spooky character? Is my question. If she comes back, because let's not forget she was pregnant. She gave birth to a little girl, as far as I understand. Might be a boy, and she's been out for some time now, obviously. And is she even ready to come back? Does she even want to come back? Those are all questions we don't really know. But I do think her as a spooky character for me is not my favorite version of Alexa Bliss, but the story is there on why she would be in the Wyatt 6. And at the same time, I think Alexa Bliss thrived when everyone else was at a certain level. And I think the level has been raised since the time when Alexa Bliss was thriving in terms of in-ring ability. So having a gimmick kind of nullifies that in-ring ability aspect. And so yeah, maybe we do go with Alexa Bliss trying it again. Maybe in a different role with the Wyatt 6, and maybe her and Nikki Cross could do some tag team work that would be good, or some singles action. But I think it could be really, really interesting. I think her and Nikki Cross had a thing already before as a tag team, but it was obviously not spooky. But anyway, I think it'll be some good stuff. You put her in there, but I think she's one where people could definitely see her going back to just being a straight heel, no spooky character. So let's go with Alexa Bliss in the Wyatt family. Now, before we get to Bo Dallas, we have another two people that I want to talk about, and one of them is Joe Gacy from NXT. Now, Joe Gacy has been active, unlike just about everybody we've mentioned already. He's been really, really active on NXT, building his own character, which is, I don't know what it is, but that's the point of it. That's the point of it. He's crazy. He likes pain. He just can't put him down. You cannot end him. He gets back up every single time and comes straight back for you with this creepy smile. I've actually been liking this version of Joe Gacy a lot more than his previous work, just because I can see where this has legs to it. It can go heel, it can go babyface, it had legs to it. So whether or not I'd stop that and put him in the Wyatt 6, I'm not sure. But I do think Joe Gacy is the type of character that can tell a lot of story in the Wyatt 6. I think he can take the mic. We know he can take the mic. We know he can cut some good promos, which is maybe something that the other men in the group might lack in Eric Rowan and the other men mentioned in Eric Rowan and Dexter Lumis. So maybe Joe Gacy could fill that role. And potentially maybe he fills a role of eventually trying to take over the Wyatt 6. Just because of the type of character he is and the type of worker he is, I could definitely see that sort of stuff happening. And I think he is excelled in his time recently in NXT. He's a good wrestler. He helped Cody Rhodes get back to fitness a couple years ago, just showing how respected he is by the likes of Cody, for example. So Joe Gacy in this lineup, I would take it for the simple fact that I think he is someone that'll benefit from this group and it'll take him to a whole new level above most of the other people in this group. That's what I feel. I think it's his ticket to the main roster without having to develop a new character, or I just think it's a real good way to get him intertwined with everybody else. So Joe Gacy, I'll take him in the roster. I'll take him in the Wyatt 6. Then we also have someone who I'm not sure is going to be in the Wyatt 6. So we've already mentioned 5 people, and then we're obviously going to have Bo Dallas, which we'll get onto. But here's one person which people are tossing in and out of their potential fantasy Wyatt 6 characters, and that is Braun Strowman. Now, we recently saw the return of Braun Strowman with hair and everything recently on Raw, and he took out, who did he take out? Took out Logan Paul and the Judgment Day. So the question is he now, because he was introduced on TV, does that mean he's not going to be in the Wyatt 6? Because I think that could potentially tell us he's not going to be in the Wyatt 6. The fact that he's been on TV and he's doing other stuff now. If he had stayed off TV, I would have said, Braun Strowman would be perfect. And I still think he would be perfect as well. Him and Eric Rowan as a big dominant tag team. We're lacking that. We have AOP, but AOP in the ring. Anyway, they're alright. But I just think they would be perfect. They would dominate. That would just give them more power, more horsepower, I was about to say. I just think the history with him and Bray Wyatt as well is there. Him and Eric Rowan, the history is there, and they should capitalize on this history and this nostalgia. The only problem is I think Braun Strowman does have a good character outside of this faction, and it's working. It always has worked. There might have been peaks and troughs, but quite frankly, he gets a pop most of the time. He does what he does. He's good at what he does. So do you ruin that? I don't know, and I think that's what WWE is thinking as well. They've put him on TV, and I think they think exactly what I'm saying. Do we ruin what we've got with Braun right now? With that being said, let's talk about Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy or whatever they're going to call him. I am happy to see him back. I enjoyed the Bo Leave character as much as some people didn't. I enjoyed him even in the B team as much as some people didn't. But I always thought he was destined for bigger things than what he was doing. And this Uncle Howdy, it's sad that we never got to see Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt. So in other words, Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt together doing some tag team work or doing some matches together. Because I think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted a WrestleMania moment together. And it's sad we never got that. But I'm happy Bo Dallas has been given the opportunity, or potentially being given the opportunity, to carry on Bray Wyatt's legacy. His brother's legacy, which is something that is wrestling fans will appreciate, considering we lost Bray very early. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge Bray's mind, his genius, his story. And there's no better person to do that than his own brother, who was in fact involved in the story. I just think, it's going to be great stuff for Bo Dallas. I hope WWE and Triple H embrace the Bray Wyatt side of all of this and don't make it their complete own story. I understand Bray is not here anymore. So perhaps you're never going to please whatever Bray was originally going to do. It's just not going to be the same. But I feel like they might have had an idea of what Bray was going to do, and I hope they can run with that. And I'd like to think Bo Dallas has an idea of what Bray was going to do. With that being said, my Wyatt 6 would be Bo Dallas running the ship, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, that's 4 names, and then Joe Gacy. Now, I know that's a lot of people's picks. It seems like the obvious pick. It seems like what's going to happen. But I thought, let's discuss each one of them and let's break it down and see if I think they'll fit. I think Braun Strowman would be very good in there, but I just feel he's been on TV, so he might not be in there. But if I were to put Braun Strowman in, I would not include Dexter Lumis. So, with that being said, that is the Wyatt 6. Are you guys excited for the story? When do you think will be a reveal of this? I know there was a one of the QR codes, I think, had a date or something along those lines. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be super, super interesting. With that being said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this content. And we do reviews for every single show, whether it's Dynamite, whether it's Raw, whether it's SmackDown, whether it's NXT, whether it's the pay-per-views. So with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Raw review. Take care. Peace.